Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be talking about what the Buccaneers plan or what their options are for the left guard position, because coming out of the NFL draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers drafted center Graham Barton, and that was a fantastic pick, and I think that a lot of people would agree on that. However, there is still a question mark as to who is going to be the starting left guard on the Bucs offensive line. Now, I have a couple of quotes here from Jason Licht from April 25th that I want to highlight with some of my points here. And the first one is this. When asked on the importance of the interior offensive line, Jason Licht said, yeah, just the interior offensive line in general. We're trying to get more physical. We're really happy with the guys that we have. I know that they're getting better as well, but this was something that Todd Bowles and I talked about since the middle of last year. That was something we needed to improve. If you guys remember, the Bucs had a bit of a rotating cast at left guard. You saw Matt Filer there first as the starting left guard. Then you saw Aaron Stinney slide into that starting role. And you even saw Nick Leverett over there a little bit as well. So it was definitely a bit of a rotating cast. And none of those guys are back with the Buccaneers at this point. Aaron Stinney is with the New York Giants, Nick Leverett is with the New England Patriots, and Matt Filer is still a free agent and probably isn't expected to come back to the team. Then, when asked on what he thinks the competition at left guard is going to be, Jason Licht said, I see it as a good competition. We've got Sua Opeta, we've got Ben Bredeson, and you mentioned Robert Hainsey. So whoever asked him this question, the reporter, mentioned Robert Hainsey. We've got some guys that were with us last year too, so it's going to be a good competition. Then, when asked on what his conversations with Robert Hainsey will consist of, Jason Licht said all of our players are very professional. They understand this business, that we're always looking for competition. I think Robert will understand. Like you said, Barton hasn't been handed the job yet. We certainly expect him to compete and everybody to compete. So that's kind of interesting. That kind of alludes to the fact that Hainsey is both going to be competing at center and left guard as well, which is a very, very interesting thing in my mind. That's kind of the first guy I want to talk about is Robert Hainsey, because people will forget before he was the Bucs starting center the past 2 years, he was competing as the starting left guard of this team. Whenever you go and kind of overview Hainsey and what his time has been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's been definitely up and down, I think, overall. Right? You take a look at his 2023 per Pro Football Focus, it was a 52.8, not great. 2022 was better, a 66.7 in there, and then a 65.7 in 2021. Now, he didn't play really any offensive snaps in 2021, but he did play a lot in 2022. Overall, had a decent year. I would even say a good year, and then he had a worse year, marginally worse, in 2023. But it is important to remember that Hainsey wasn't originally slated to be a guard the past couple of years. He was originally slated to be battling for that starting left guard spot. So will we see Hainsey go back into that role? Well, you know, the question here on the competition, seeing it as a good competition and mentioning, well, he did say the reporter mentioned Robert Hainsey. So, you know, Jason Licht didn't disagree with that in regards to Hainsey being a part of the left guard competition. So that's going to be interesting as well. You then have Sua Opeta and Ben Bredeson. Real quick, I do want to take a look at Ben Bredeson on Pro Football Focus. This past year, he played a lot of offensive snaps. He did not play very well. 42.1 Pro Football Focus grade in 2023. 2022 was better, a 56.7 in there as well, and then 2021 a 56.2. So just based off the Pro Football Focus numbers, you would probably give Hainsey the benefit over Ben Bredeson. And then whenever we look at Sua Opeta as well, I do want to see what his Pro Football Focus numbers look like also. Again, a 53.2 grade in 2023. Not really the best, and he hasn't seen much playing time besides then. 2024, he was really good in a limited capacity. But just looking at Pro Football Focus numbers, you would definitely give the edge to Robert Hainsey over Sua Opeta and Ben Bredeson. But Jason Licht did say that they've also got some guys that were with them last year as well. So let's take a quick look at the roster and see what options that may be. You have Brandon Walton. He's just listed as an offensive lineman. Could he maybe move inside to guard? What about Lorenz Metz, the German player, 6'9", 310 pounds. Luke Haggard as well, 6'7", 305 pounds. I don't know if necessarily any of those guys would move inside, but I suppose they are options. You've also got Logan Stenberg out of Kentucky, 6'6", 315 pounds in that mix also, I imagine, or I guess I assume he's going to be in that mix in some way, shape, or form, I guess. But one of the more interesting names that you might want to consider is the fact that the Bucs drafted another interior offensive lineman in Elijah Klein out of UTEP, 6'4", 319 pounds. He's going to possibly be another guy competing for that left guard job as well. So ultimately, I think you have four main guys who are competing right now. Robert Hainsey, which is kind of up in the air because is he going to compete at center? Is he going to compete at left guard? I don't know. That's a little bit up in the air right now. I like to think that he'd probably be competing more at left guard than center, but we'll wait and see. You then have Elijah Klein, who was brought in as a rookie out of UTEP, and then you have free agent additions Sua Opeta and Ben Bredesen as well. And folks, in all honesty, I think the guy with the most upside is either Robert Hainsey or Elijah Klein, and I would probably give the nod to Robert Hainsey at this point. And I know people are going to say, oh, come on, right? But I would be curious to see how Hainsey would do at guard versus center. And if you do have an offensive line of Tristan Wirfs, Robert Hainsey, Graham Barton, Cody Mock, and Luke Gedeke, I like that offensive line a lot. So ultimately, we are going to have to wait and see what shakes out, but those are the Bucs options. And in my opinion, my favorite option is Robert Hainsey right now. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions about this. Are you a big Sua Opeta guy? Are you a big Ben Bredesen guy? Do you like Elijah Klein coming in out of UTEP? Or do you think it was somebody else that we mentioned here in this mix? Or do you agree with me about Robert Hainsey possibly being the best option? Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.